This video is going to be about augmented matrices. So in this section, what is an augmented matrix? So it represents a system of equations, but in matrix form. The rows represent the coefficients, so the numbers in front of the variable. And then the columns, the first column is the x column, the second column is y, and your third column is solution. So given the system of equations, find the matrix. So we're not solving anything, we're just kind of setting it up. All right, so we need to take the coefficients in front of the numbers. So this first one, negative x, there's really what in front of there? A -1. So I'm going to set my matrix up, and then what's our first coefficient in front of that x? -1. What's below it? The second x? 3. So this first column is your x column. All right, so let's move on to the y's. What's the top y? 9. And what's the bottom y? -8. And then most likely, I'm sorry, I didn't draw a bracket. Most likely, the majority of the time you'll have, for the equal sign, there'll be a bar to kind of separate. So then what's our first solution behind the equal sign at the top? A 1. And the second solution is a 2. And then put your bracket. So this is the first column's your x, the second column is the y numbers, and then the third columns are behind the equal sign. And the bar, you may see it or sometimes not see it, and that's okay. But the bar represents where the equal sign is located. So it only wants us to find the matrix. All right, here they gave us the matrix and they want us to create the equations. So looking at our matrix, the first column I know are my x's, the second column is the y's, and that bar is the equal. All right, so my first equation is the top row. So how many x's do I have? I have 3 x's. What's my y? -4y. Put your equal sign and then the 5. And then my second equation, how many x's at the bottom? 3x. How many y's? Well, that's a +5y. Then my equal sign, -3. So those are my 2 equations. So now we're going to solve using the matrix. So we're going to figure out, where do these 2 equations meet? What is the unique solution? What is the point that they meet? So let's set our matrix up. Now I did want to identify, so the x's right here in this problem are listed as x1. The y's are listed as x2. So sometimes you see that, sometimes you don't, the x1 and the x2. So just remember that x2 is actually the y's place. All right, so let's make our matrix. I have a 4 in front of that first x, and then a +1 at the bottom. Let's go to the y's column. I have a -1 for my first y and a +3. Draw your equal sign, and then I have 14 and 10, and then close out your matrix. All right, so I am going to show you, we're going to solve this using our calculator. Here are our calculator steps. You're going to hit second and then find that matrix button because it's going to be in blue, so that's why we're hitting second. And then you'll go to math and scroll all the way down to RREF. And then we're going to click alpha, zoom at the top, and we will be able to put in our matrix and solve it from there. So let's try it out. So I have my calculator open. So let's do second, and then find the matrix on your calculator. Scroll over to math and go all the way down until you see RREF. And so here for this calculator, it's under B, and my personal calculator, it's also under B. Hit enter. To get to setting up your matrix, you're going to click on alpha, zoom, and we need to tell it how many rows and how many columns. So we have 2 rows, which is already at the 2. And then we have 3 columns. Hit enter. And then scroll back down to the OK. Hit enter. And so we have our matrix set up. So I'm going to plug in those numbers. I'm going to click on 4. And then it tells us to use the arrow. So use the arrow key for the next one. And then my next number, make sure you use -1. If you use a subtraction sign, it's not going to work. So I'm going to type in that -1, hit my arrow, then do 14, hit your arrow, then 1 arrow, 3 arrow, and then 10. All right, here we have a matrix. If you notice, they have a 1, 0, 4 and 0, 1, 2. So this is telling us wherever the 1's place, so our top row, where's the 1 located? Is it in the X column or the Y column? That's in the X column. So it's telling us X is 4. So look at the bottom row. Where's the 1 located? Is it in the X column or the Y column? It's in the Y column. So that's telling us that Y is 2. So let's go back to our equation. And so for our answer, it looked like 1, 0, 4, 0, 1, 2. So remember, this is our X column and our Y column. So I have 0 for Y and 1 for X. So that means this is X and the second one is Y. So this is a point. So this isn't your final answer. You need to make it an ordered pair. For ordered pair, X is listed first, then Y. So I'm going to do 4, 2. And that is where both equations meet.